but I noted in the Department's estimates memorandum the specific reference to spending supported the objectives to make the UK the best place in the world to do business, the best place to do business from, and to deliver great services to businesses. And I'm going to go on to talk about a roundtable I held for hospitality businesses in my own constituency of North East Fife last week. The organisations who came did vary hugely in size, turnover and business model, because North East Fife is a place that generally people want to come to visit, and it caters for a number of visitors accordingly. But I do have to say, Madam Deputy Speaker, none of them thought that the Department for Business was making this the best place in the world to be operating. And I know that part of the reason for this debate today is because the Department has increased its budgets for the British Business Bank and the Growth Guarantee Scheme, which the Chair of the Committee mentioned in his opening remarks. Now, there are other sectors in North East Fife. We've seen losses in manufacturing, largely due to our departure from the EU. We have the University of St Andrews doing groundbreaking work and research, but we're a largely rural economy with farmers across the constituency. But if I move on to hospitality and talk a bit about that business round table, one of the issues that was raised was the difficulty in getting access to finance. And given that it's already been raised by the Chair of the Business Committee, I hope the Minister will be able to address that point particularly. Because, as already touched upon, the feeling is that hospitality is being hammered from every direction at the moment. And the question they were asking is, how much more can businesses take? Now, across the board, businesses understood the reasons behind the changes to national insurance contributions, and they were supportive of the national living wage. Now, part of that is because most leaders in hospitality have themselves worked their way up within hospitality, and they know that the hard work of the service industry deserves proper pay. But as business owners, they were also acutely aware that their wage bills are going up unsustainably, and a significant amount of their costs are related to staffing. 30 to 40% or even higher was quoted by some of them. And the lower threshold for contributions, by dropping to £5,000, means employees pay national insurance on more of their employees' earnings, and it means many part-time roles have been impacted, and means that part-time recruitment is no longer happening. They are recruiting more full-time roles, which stops young people, for example, finding that first rung on the hospitality ladder. Now, business rates are also going up, and I appreciate for myself as a Scottish MP that's a problem that lies squarely at the feet of the SNP government in Scotland, who could but are refusing to pause this year's re-evaluations. And I'm grateful to my colleagues in the Scottish Parliament who have secured hospitality reliefs in our own budget negotiations with them. Food inflation, especially with the impact of tariffs, is a very real concern. And the only real lever to control soaring costs is to cut back on training, hours and staff, just the things that the Chair of the Business Committee say are so critical to deliver some of the change that the Government wants to see. But the biggest ask that came in relation to hospitality was to cut VAT from 20 to 15%, a move my party has been calling on for some time. I know that isn't in the gift of the Minister, but I urge him to make representations to the Treasury if we want this to be the best place in the world to do business. And it's also a measure that would support hospitality across the UK, and I say that as a Scottish MP. Hospitality is important for so many reasons. Last September, there were 2.6 million jobs in the hospitality industry, and it's estimated to be worth 70 billion to our economy. It's also part of our community. That came across very strongly in the round table. On the day that my son was born, our local pub was across the road from our house, and I went there to wet his head, because why should I miss out on all the fun? Since then, it's the place he's worked in, it's the place that he had his 18th birthday. We need to support those hospitality industries going forward.